But if you want to come see us in the flesh, more riveting festival like this, we're playing at Woodstock this Saturday, one at 4 o'clock, the wonderful street festival there. We're playing LionAid, which I know you've supported before, at the Red Lion Eynsham on the 13th September.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
Band Week is launching right here, right now on Get Radio. A wonderful week where we shine a light on the incredible musicians of Oxfordshire. And we're kicking off with the brilliant Mid-Air. And I can say morning to Pete. Morning, Pete.
Good morning, Rich. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. Now with Band Week, it's always a bit of a reset and a kind of an introduction into a new audience, into new ears, into new people. So I kind of like to start by kind of going way back when and kind of going, okay, well, we'll kind of introduce Mid-Air to brand new people.
You know, because there's just a chance, and not everybody's heard of us. So very happy to be
only a small one though.
Probably minuscule, but yeah, for those people, let's do it.
So take us back then. So the debut album got released in 2023. You featured heavily on Melting Pot. The album had a walkthrough, which was incredible. I really love all the sort of album walkthroughs, gigs at the O2 and a truck and everything like that. Take us a little bit before that. Take us to the embryonic stage of Mid-Air and where you came from and kind of why, I guess.
Why? Goodness me, that's a big question. Where we came from. So at the minute, currently we're 5-6-piece band, but it started really with myself and Corin being in bands for years. Corin plays piano, keyboard, and sings. And we picked up members along the way, as and when our ambition sort of broadened, and Dan joined on drums. And we played as a trio, quite acoustic heavy, and that is really why the last album, debut album, sounds like it does. It is quite acoustic focused with pianos and strings, and that's from when we started just sitting in my music room, bashing it out, as it were. And then wanted to record and wanted to gig. Yeah, pretty standard ambitions and storyline really. Just picked up more members. Lee and Colin joined, and we went into Rat Studios and did our album, which we're delighted with.
And I always kind of like, I find it amazing that people kind of, they kind of say that everyone has an album in them. It's that kind of thing. Everyone's got a song in them, or so everyone's got a fax. I say everyone's got a thing, but actually to go through that stage and kind of do the process, do the thing, actually live that, and kind of go, actually, I like making my own original songs, and I have a vision, and I have where we want to get to, and I have this kind of passion and drive for it. That's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, because it won't leave you alone. You have to keep it, and you make all sorts of sacrifices and other decisions, life decisions around it. But I've been doing that since 16, and I'm now a bit older than 16. So it's still 30 years later. It's still my greatest joy, really, writing a new song. I have to check that it's not the Beach Boys. I've had that a few times. Next day you go, oh, hang on a minute, that's good vibrations. Oh, there we go. Start again. But generally, it's a wonderful thing, writing music and recording it, and the recording process. We, for whatever reason, we feel quite at home in the studio. I mean, that whole red light nerves thing. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it does. I don't know why. We seem to gel and come to life in the studio. I love it.
And that's really, really lovely. We sort of touched on there, and it's quite an interesting point that you sort of mentioned about, music is there's only a certain number of notes, and there's only certain numbers of orders that you can put those notes and things in. And I kind of, and we've seen in sort of recent years as well with various different cases of going, hang on, that song's ripped off from that song, and that song's ripped off from. I mean, is that an issue with bands? I mean, I'm talking fairly genuinely.
Depends what you want to do with it. If you want to record it and release it, it can be an issue. Back in the day when you could make any money from it, I suspect it was more of an issue. In all seriousness, part of it doesn't matter, because the actual creative act itself is a salutary thing. It's good for you. It's good for, that's good. And as long as you don't set out to rip anything off, you'll get
Yeah.
that kind of experience. But yeah, I mean, I've gone as far as recording a song in the studio, and 2 weeks after I've taken it home, press demo, whatever, I thought, oh my God, that is a Brian Wilson song, obscure Brian Wilson song that I'd heard 20 years ago, maybe forgot about, and it's logic. And that happens, and then you just have to be honest. I think you have to be honest. Nothing consciously that we play live or record is ripped off, but it is definitely. I mean, until AI comes up with some new notes, I'm
Yes.
waiting for that. But
Yes.
at the minute, there's only those same notes that we can all share.
Well, yeah, that's brilliant. And to fast forward, and you just mentioned just before we were chatting as well that you've just literally come from a sort of recording session last night and kind of getting the band in and kind of doing bits and bobs. Where is Midair right now, I guess?
Sure. So, like you mentioned, we played Truck a couple of times, which we loved, and loads and had great support from Melting Pot, as you mentioned, and other areas, and played some really cool gigs. We decided this year to start the next album, start writing. We know we all work full time, so that already is a rude impingement on my creative space. So, if we have writing sessions, recording sessions, we've done fewer gigs for that reason. We've got some coming up, but at the minute and for the last few months, it's all been about writing the new album, which we've now got a bundle of songs together that we're going to we are taking to the studio. That's where we're at. That's been our focus this year.
Amazing. And what's the? I'm asking you so many loaded questions, Peter. I apologize.
No, it's all
They're just
good.
sort of coming to me.
Interesting.
But what's the biggest kind of buzz? Because there's a whole journey with as we touched on, writing, and then being in a studio, then sort of playing live. I mean, is it getting masters back for an album? Is it getting a song and performing it live? What are those sparks that keep this going and keep the fire burning and keep the quote unquote inconvenience of wanting to do the band and make it sort of great and successful?
Be clear, whatever I said about it's just the fact that it never leaves you alone. That even if I have a weekend, I'll feel like I should be doing something, and that's a good thing because some people say they don't know what to do at their time. I've always got this, but sometimes it'd be nice just to not have that. But anyway, the buzz, there's a multitude. It was a life ambition to have an album on vinyl, and getting the master copies back for that, and getting the actual many boxes of the album with all the artwork. That was a significant buzz. The first time you hear a mix in a decent studio with decent speakers, that's pretty overwhelming when you hear what you can sound like. If you follow that through to its conclusion, then you get feedback. We've had unsolicited, I assure you, unsolicited feedback from around the world, really, partly from radio listens or people buying the album from across the. I mean, that is incredible. Internet comes with all sorts of pros and cons, but one of the pros is that somebody in South America can hear your music, buy it, and email you and say, "I listen to that every day." I mean, that is a connecting to other humans. That's a huge buzz, and then a bit more of a in real time buzz, walking out of a truck, something like that, or any venue actually. If the audience gets you and you can feel they're getting you, and you can hear yourself, then that is a great buzz. There's loads.
It's interesting that you sort of say that, because actually that's the drug of music, if you will. That it does drip feed into every part, going from maybe from writing a line or a verse or something like that, where you actually sit down and go, oh that's I quite like that. And if someone else goes, yeah, I quite like that as well, first buzz, and then going,
yeah,
I've got the chords for this. Oh, well, that's about. And then it's that constant thing of just kind of, if you can get those things all lined up, the end point of holding your album on vinyl, which oh my days, what an absolutely incredible feeling, and kind of opening it up.
It
and
really
looking
is.
at it.
I like a teenager, not to disparage teenagers by any means. I found myself going into truck just to look at my album, or the band's album on the stand. it was that kind of thing. You go into a Truck Records and there it is, and it looks great and it looks not out of place, and obviously we all feel a bit fraudulent, and it's like no, it sort of reaffirms or
Yeah.
confirms that you have made a record. And it's good to remember that when you're lugging equipment around at 2 in the morning and you're driving back from wherever, or you know, you can't
Yeah.
find a rehearsal date because everyone's too busy. You think, oh goodness, this is tricky. Actually, remember you did all that work, and you've got this thing that will be there when you're not, and it's quite that's quite a lovely feeling.
That's amazing.
We always
And
get very philosophical when we have these interviews. I like
do you
it.
know we always say, I don't know
We
what it
always
is
seem to.
about us. I kind
It's me. I'm just full of verbiage.
yeah, I just allow us to go down this road. Hopefully, everyone's with us still this morning for it.
Well, I imagine yes.
Well, I was just going to say, something that is it's going to be a piece on your shelf. It is one of the songs that we're going to be playing right now. I've chosen "There's a Sun," just purely because I like it. So I could give you another reason, but
That's fair enough.
And I just went, I'm just going to choose that one. Just we're going to play this now. Just to explain to people the kind of what happened with this song, kind of where it's kind of come from, and any sort of bits that people almost like what we did with the Melting Pot, and kind of that walkthrough of this song.
Wow. I was sat. Many of these stories would start like this. I was sat in a pub, reading paper, and it was a pub happily without music on, because then your mind can float and wander. And I just had this tune in my head, and that's how it happens. Genuinely, unbidden, this tune came to my head, and I thought, I quite like that. I really like that. So I scurry off the corner. I went to the toilet. I can't remember. Get a phone and start recording it, of which I've got thousands. Some of them are highly amusing to listen back to. But anyway, this one turned out to be a keeper. And then just work backwards from that, work it out on guitar, get some rhyming couplets, get some. Yeah, I try, the same as any of the songs that I write, really, very, very rarely do they come fully fledged. It's, I think, some themes. So lots of themes, some serious, deep themes in this song, around, how can a combination of remorse, guilt, and responsibility, I would say, and a bit of realism. But people can obviously infer what they get from the song. And it started off as they all do, with acoustic guitar and then piano lines, and I sort of heard some different motifs I wanted in it. But for me, it came to life when the cello and the strings were put on. And that was Barney. Barney Moss Brown came and played, and he's such a gifted musician that it really sprang to life. And then the guy we are again working with in the studio, Robbie Nelson, just added loads of sonics to it, and the stuff that I might imagine but wouldn't have any idea how to realize. So that was a joy, and it's a favorite to play live as well.
Brilliant.
Particularly now when we play it live, our drummer has added this kind of hip hop beat, which doesn't even sound like coming out of my mouth, but it does sound a bit like it's live, and it seems to really fit. So it's a great one to play live. Yeah,
brilliant.
Happy you chose it.
But I'm pleased we kind of stumbled in some way onto this one as well. And just for people sort of wanting to see bits and bobs, I know you're deep in the studio doing the album, what have you, and I don't want to say timescales or anything like that because these things take time. But where can people find out about you, see you, and bits and bobs that you got coming up?
Absolutely. So we have midairmusic.com website. But our record is if you want on vinyl, you can either contact us directly on all the usual social media outlets or via the website. It's on sale at Track Records. We're on Bandcamp, any of the downloads, that sort of stuff. But if you want to come see us in the flesh, more riveting pastel like this, we're playing at Woodstock this Saturday. We're on at 4:00. The wonderful street festival there. We're playing LionAid, which I know you've supported before, at the Red Lion Eynsham on the 13th of September. And then we're going on the road down to Southampton to support Ruth Leon on 17th of October. So we've got a few gigs coming up now. We've done our writing, so now we get back to the hard work and get out and play, which we love.
Amazing. Well, can't wait to see you again very, very soon. Pete from Midair, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Cheers, Rich. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your week.